Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. It's Ijoma here, and in today's video we are going to learn how to make this beautiful top with a ruched neckline. So if you look at that neckline, you can see that it has these gathers, though my fabric may not allow you to see very well, but you can see that this neckline has gathers, slash and spread. Yes, so that's what you're going to do today. So this is the fabric that I'm using. This is a sorry fabric, but one side of it is very stretchy. Yes, one side of this particular fabric is really stretchy. So if you cannot buy a mesh fabric, you can go for this sunray fabric. Some people call it sunray, right? Yeah. So now this is the fabric, the paper that I'm using, and I'm cutting on fold. Reason why I'm cutting on fold is, number one, this top is an asymmetric top. Like the both necklines are not equal. Then the hemline, the basque area, the triangular part of that hemline is also on one side. So that's the reason why I'm cutting out on fold. So I'll take my basic body measurements, and I'm not adding any darts to this. If you want to use a bust dart, that is fine. But if you're using a super stretchy fabric or all those mesh fabric, you may not need to go through all that process of adding darts and co. No, you don't need it. Now, I have marked my chest line, my bust point, half length and full length. So my normal full length is 22. And I added extra 5 inches for the basque waistline. But please add extra 7 inches for your basque, for that triangular part, so that it will be very long. Okay, so the normal length of the top is 22. Then from that 22, it should be up to like 25 inches. That is where the triangular part will reach. Yes. So right now, I'll cut off the paper and I will go ahead and label the lines. I'll also extend my armhole line. So after this, I'll go ahead and mark my armhole. So for now, I am drawing the normal armhole, but I'll still do some manipulations or extensions at this armhole because one shoulder of this dress is falling off. Yes, one shoulder is falling off without stress. You don't have to be the one to drag that part. So this is my chest line, bust point, half length, normal full length, and then the basque. This one is the basque line, the triangular shape area. So I'll divide my bust by 4, no allowance. I'll divide my waist by 4, no allowance. I'll divide my full length, my hip measurement by 4, and no allowance. So from there, I will connect my lines, and from that full length, I will connect just a normal straight line for now. Okay, just mark a normal straight line for now. Then after that, you can cut off and then mark your slanted full length, your slanted hemline. But for now, just mark a straight line and leave it like that. So at this neckline area, I told you guys that I'm going to extend my shoulder. So I'm going to open up this paper, and that is the main reason why I drafted this pattern on fold, because of the differences at the neckline area and the full length area. So this is my right and my left, and the side that fell off is the left. So at this left, you extend your left by extra 3 inches. Like from your shoulder, you extend it by extra 3 or 4 inches so that it will fall off your shoulder. Okay, then from that extension, you will reconnect your curve, your armhole curve. So this is what you should have after the 3 inches extension and the reconnection. Okay, so now that is it. You can see what you have. I will now go ahead and cut out my pattern, my paper, and I am cutting from the new armhole. This is our new armhole. You can see how slanty it is. Now that we are done, the next thing that we are going to do is open up our paper again, and I will extend all these lines to avoid confusion. I will extend my chest line, my bust point line, my half length, and the full length. So now it is time to mark that triangular hemline, the basque area. So from the center line, you can see the center line of this paper, you will move to the right by like 2.5. From the center line, move towards the right by 2.5, because that slanted area is facing the right side. Then you will connect it to your normal full length, and this is the pointy hemline that you will have. Like I said, you can make your top longer so that this triangular area will be more see. So right now I am done cutting that, and the next thing that I'm going to do is to work on the other shoulder. You know, the other shoulder is sitting on top of the shoulder. So from the center, mark your shoulder divided by 2. So my own is 16 divided by 2, that is 8. Just mark your proper shoulder. You can see that this particular armhole is standing straight, no slant. So on this right hand side, you mark normal shoulder, but the left hand side, I extended the shoulder by 3 inches. I hope you understand what I mean. So now for the neck width, on the normal shoulder area, I will mark 5 inches for the neck width. From the center, measure 5. Okay, then on the left hand side, from the center, measure 8, because that neckline will be wide. So now the total of our neckline is 13 inches. On this side, I marked 8 from the center. On the other side, I marked 5. Then let me just come down by 3 inches so that you guys will know that this is our neckline. Normally, you're not supposed to mark round neck, but let me just mark that round neck so that you guys will know that this is my normal neckline. Okay, so I even made a mistake. I did not connect this neckline to the 3 inches that I marked. So the 3 inches extension, it is that place that I connected it to is not up to that 3 inches. So remember to connect it. On this side, mark 8 inches. On the other side, mark 5, so that when you wear it, this side will fall off. Okay, 8 on this side. From the center, mark 8 on the left. From the center, mark 5 on the right. I hope you understand. So now we are going to mark our lines for the slash and spread. So we are going to mark curvy lines. So just watch me as I do it. So these lines will be like 1.5 inch away from each other, and the line will be only around the armhole area. If you look at that up very well, that gathered part is only around the armhole area, neckline area. The slash and spread is on the armhole area, from one point of the armhole to the other point of the armhole. So that's why I am marking these lines, and you can see they are curvy lines and they are 1.5 inch away from each other. So after marking these lines, I'll go ahead and label them. So you can see it should not cross this armhole. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I will use this paper to cut out my back piece first of all before cutting the front. This is my fabric. I will use it to cut out my back piece before cutting out the front. You know, the front has slash and spread. So let me cut my back first before cutting the slash and spread for the front. Now find the stretchy part of my fabric. I've gotten the stretchy part of my fabric, and I'll go ahead and place this paper on top. Now, if you're doing this pattern drafting, please ensure that you are cutting it in a way that the front and the back will face each other, will be opposite to each other. The right side of the front and the right side of the back should be opposite each other. So that's why I placed my pattern this way. And you can see that I folded my pattern at the full length. I folded it because the back does not have that triangular part. The back stopped at 22 inches. That triangular part is The triangular part is just at the front. Okay, so the back is straight and it stopped at 22. Then from there, the front extended. So now you can see that I folded the top of this fabric. The top of this fabric is on fold before I placed this paper. Yes, fold it so that you cut the facing together with the neckline. So after placing it this way, I will start cutting. But before that, I will indicate where my neckline stopped at. Make sure you indicate where your neckline stopped at. And I am not adding any allowance to this, only at the full length, only 1/2 inch at the full length for weaving it. Because you sew this type of top with weaving machine most of the time. So cut out your armhole and your side. So right now, I will indicate my neckline. Use this chalk to mark your neck width. Yes. Use the chalk to mark your neck width. Then you will open up your facing. You can see that I folded the parts of that neckline. I folded it before cutting it out. Now I'll open up this facing. So that means that you are not going to join the facing separately. And that round neck that I marked is just to show you guys where our neckline is at. Normally, the neckline of this top is straight, just straight up. Yeah. So now I'll open up this, and this is our facing, and this is how I'm cutting it. I'll just cut out my shoulder, and when I get to where my neckline is at, you know, I use chalk to indicate the neckline. You will just cut it. So now the facing of this top is together with the neckline. Nothing. You're not cutting out the round neck. Nothing. I just use that round neck to like indicate where the neckline is at. So the neckline will be straight and the facing will be cut together with it. Okay. So now we are done with the back. We are going to start cutting the front, and then the front, you know that the front has a triangular hemline, and the neckline area has slash and spread, the armhole area has slash and spread. So find the stretchy part of your fabric and then place your paper on it. So when you place your paper on it, you're going to start your slash and spread. So also make sure that you are cutting it in a way that the right side of this front will face the right side of the back without any mistake. I hope you understand. So right now, after placing my paper, I will start slashing it, and after slashing it, I will spread it by like 1.5 inch away from each other. So watch me as I slash and spread. And remember also that the top should be on fold. The top of your fabric should be on fold a little. Now I am done spreading, and you can see how I spreaded it by like 1.5 inch away from each other, and I'll add 1/2 inch and start cutting. So when you get to the neck width, cut a facing for it. So you can see that I went upwards because I'm trying to cut a facing for this. So at the other side of the neckline, you come down before you cut your shoulder, and then the armhole, the side, and the full length. So you can see the facing is part of the neckline, so that the facing will be together with the neckline. You don't need to attach it separately. If you have this type of top, look at it, they don't cut facing for it, they cut it together with the main fabric. So now we are going to gather the armhole, the slash and spread area, the place that we have spreaded. We are going to gather it. So you can see how I'm gathering my armhole area. So if you gather it, you can use pin to hold it down, or you can go to your sewing machine and gather it with your sewing machine. So I'm pinning it down so that I will know where the armhole stopped at. So after pinning it down, you place the right side and the back side together. So right now I'm done gathering. I'll place the front and the back together, then use 1/2 inch to shape the sides and the shoulder. Nothing much, just shape the shoulder, shape the side, and then use weaving to hem the full length. Nothing much, nothing much. Once you are done drafting, you are almost done. So right now we are done with that. The next thing that we are going to do is to cut out our sleeves. So I'll just pin everything together and keep aside. This is for the sleeve, and our sleeve is very long. So normal sleeve length is around 24 inches, but I'm going to make this one up to 28-29 inches. Okay, so this one is at 29 inches. Then you come up and mark 20 inches. So that 20 inches is where the A-line part of that sleeve will start from. So draw all your lines. After drawing these lines, you can label them. Okay, So this particular one, I'll label it as bicep. That is where I'll take my biggest measurement. This one is the elbow, this one is the normal wrist, and this one is the full length. So at the bicep, take your biggest round sleeve measurement. At the elbow, take your elbow measurement. At the wrist, take your wrist measurement. So my wrist is 8 divided by 2, that is 4. My normal wrist, okay? Then from that wrist, once you have gotten the fitted measurement of the wrist, you will now mark an A-line shape. So at the full length, I'll mark my A-line at 7 inches or 8 inches and then connect. So you can see the A shape, and then I'll curve it. I'll curve it at the full length. Don't just allow it to be straight. Curve it a little. So you can see how I drafted my sleeve. Make it fitted around the wrist and then expand it so that you will have that A-line shape. So after doing this, I'll fold my fabric into 2 and place my paper on top to cut out. Also be mindful of the stretchy parts of your fabric. It is time to sew, and I want to use my weaving machine. This fabric is light to the extent that weaving machine could not even sew it. Like the weaving machine is not holding on to the fabric, it is pulling away. Yeah, I tried so many methods and it wasn't working. I had to use my straight sewing. So when using my straight sewing, what I was doing was that I was adding paper to it. Like if I'm sewing, I'll attach paper. So you can see it is not weaving on top of that fabric. It is not holding onto the fabric. It is just trimming off the fabric without holding onto it. I tried many methods, but it wasn't working. I had to go back to my straight sewing. So if you are sewing this type of fabric, you can cut out a lot of paper. That it will make things easy for you. Just cut out a lot of paper so that any line that you are sewing on, you place paper on it. So now I'm on my straight sewing and I will start shaping my sleeve. So if I fold this, I will get paper. Yes, this fabric cannot just sew on its own. You can see it's not working, so I had to get a paper. Yes, so if I fold, I'll place paper on it. So this paper will make the sewing process very easy and it will sew your fabric very well. So get paper, place on your lines. I'm shaping my sleeve. After shaping the both sleeve, I will gather the armhole. You know, our armhole has slash and spread. So after shaping the sleeve, I'll gather my slash and spread around my armhole. So this is me. I'm done shaping the sleeve and I'm removing the paper. Yes, just go ahead and remove the paper. And removing the paper is easy. Yes, I'm done removing the paper, and that was how I was able to sew this. So this is the armhole, the gathered part of the armhole. Yes, so I'll remove the pin that I used to hold it down, and then I will gather this armhole. But I will have to add my paper so that I'll be able to sew properly. So gather your armhole. Yes, you can see how I'm gathering that armhole area because of my slash and spread. And the slash and spread is on the front only, remember. Yes. the gathering of the slash and spread, I'll place the two shoulders together. This is the shoulder area. I'll place the two of them together, and I will use my paper to sew it. So if you are sewing, fold in your facing so that the facing will be facing your wrong side, the wrong side of the fabric. And then, so now I am done. I'll go ahead and shape the other shoulder. I'm trying to like double stitch on it. Always fold in your facing so that it will be facing the wrong side of your fabric before you sew. So after sewing, I'll trim and I'll remove my paper. I'll also do the same thing at the other side. So you can see our neckline. Our neckline is slanted towards one side. So this is the gathered part. I want to gather it more so that it will be ruched, like it will be well ruched around the neckline area. So now after doing that, we are going to shape the sides. We use our paper and shape our sides. So right now I am done shaping, and this is what my neckline looks like. It is nice. You can see it is slanted towards one side. I will get my sleeve and attach my sleeve. So at the end of the day, I'll show you guys what our outcome looks like.